Hello everyone, we are going to solve GATE 2015 questions, and this time we are going to solve physical metallurgy questions. So first question is, in a conventional unit cell of a crystal, A is equal to B not equal to C, and alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree. This crystal belongs to which of the following system? So here it is given suppose this is A, B, and this is C, right? So here it is given A is equal to B but not equal to C, right? So C is the two faces, the two sides are equal and one side is not equal, right? And all the angles are equal to 90 degree. This angle, and this angle. So all angles are 90 degree. That means only one side is either greater or smaller than the other side, right? Other two sides. So this is the shape of tetragonal. Now let me draw this tetragonal. You have seen tetragonal structure like this, where this A and this is also A, but this is what? C. This side is not equal to A, right? So this is the same thing, and here angle is 90 degree. Okay. So tetragonal. Next, in an X-ray powder pattern of a simple cubic crystal, the second peak corresponds to. So it is asking what simple cubic. So what is the index of the plane? Index of plane for diffraction. If you remember, for the simple cubic, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes serially, right? Okay, so here it is asking the pattern of a simple cubic crystal, the second peak. The second peak corresponds to number 2, right? And this 2, how can we get 2? So that means we can get 2 through this one, right? Option D, that is root under h square plus k square l square. So where n is equal to index is h square plus k square plus l square. This is like 1 square plus 1 square plus 0. That means it is 2. So it is possible in the case of D only. If you say C, it will be 4. B 1, it will be 3. Right? So the correct option will be question number 25. Will be option D. Right, guys? Okay. Now let us move to next. When boron, which is a trivalent atom, is talked to silicon, the resulting material is, we have silicon, right? It has got 4 electrons. These are 4 electrons. Now we are doping with boron, right? And boron is trivalent, so that means it has 3 bonds, right? So whenever this silicon will try to get attached with boron, that means, so there will be one vacancy over here, or there will be one hole over here, because here boron is not present. That means there is lack of 1 electron is there, right? So lack of this 1 electron for the formation of bond. So this is termed as hole, right? So whenever there is a hole formation, that means this is a p-type semiconductor, right? So it will form a p-type semiconductor. So just you remember that whenever we add trivalent, then it will form p-type, and if we add a pentavalent, means more than 4, more than 4, then we get n-type semiconductor, right? Okay. Next, first question: select the incorrect statement related to the effect of a small amount of carbon addition on mechanical properties of iron. So we have pure iron, suppose, right? And we are adding carbon. So when we add carbon, what are the things which are going to change, and what is the incorrect among this? What is the incorrect? Means that is not going to change basically. So when we add carbon, what happens? This material gets harder, right? So as you increase the carbon, the hardness of the material increases, right? Because the pure iron is very ductile. When pure iron is very ductile, we add some amount of carbon, then its hardness keep on increasing. When the hardness keeps on increasing, so dB dt temperature will rise. Okay, so this is not a correct statement, this is a true, right? Hardenability increases. So as we add carbon, the amount of hardness or the tendency to form a martensite will increase. So hardenability will increase. This is also a true statement, right? If you see, toughness increases. Now, as we increase the hardness of a material, we know that the toughness decreases. So this will be the false statement. And let us see the option D also. Ill point phenomenon occurs. Yeah, we know that a carbon steel which contains low amount of carbon shows ill point phenomenon. So this is also a true statement. So this is the false statement. That means incorrect. So correct option will be option C, right? Let us move to next. Question number 35. In polymers such as epoxies, creep resistance can be enhanced by. So we know that epoxies, these polymers are thermosetting polymers. That means strength increases if you increase the temperature, right? So how the strength increases, or basically it provides creep resistance, because creep is a term which is related with high temperature, right? So at high temperature we are getting more strength. So how? By increasing the bulkiness of the side group? No. By increasing the cross-link density? Yes. Addition of plasticizers? No. When we add plasticizers, it makes it softer. Annealing? No. Annealing also does not improve. So increasing the cross-link density will be the answer, because if you see, suppose this is the polymer, this is the chain of polymer. At high temperature, when the temperature is increased and we apply force, then these two chains try to move past each other. Okay, this try to move this direction, and this try to move this direction. Okay, so whenever we increase the cross-linking means link between these two chains. So when we add some cross-linker here, then what happens? This movement becomes rigid, because this link will stop it from its easy movement, and hence it will provide the creep resistance, right? So this is the explanation. So option B is the correct one. Now next question. Match the names listed in group 1 with the reactions listed in group 2. First is eutectic, then peritectic, peritectoid, and monotectic. We know that eutectic is that one where liquid forms two kinds of solids, right? Peritectic liquid and one solid will come on the left hand side, and liquid plus solid will give another solid. Peritectoid, right? We know that eutectoid reaction, one solid gives two other solids. So in peritectoid, the two solids will give the third solid. Now here monotactic. Monotactic, you need to remember that liquid gives another liquid plus solid. So you match this one, eutectic, right? So liquid gives two solids, so it will match with two. Peritectic, liquid plus solid giving solid. Okay, so here it will match with 4. Peritectoid, two solid will give one solid, right? So it will match with 1. Monotactic, liquid gives another liquid and solid. So which is the correct one? P matches with 2, Q matches with 4. P matches with 2, Q matches with 4, yeah, and R matches with 1, S matches with 3. Okay, so option C is the correct answer here, right? Now let us move to next. It takes 10 hours to homogenize an alloy at 1273 Kelvin. The time required to achieve the same extent of homogenization at 1373 Kelvin is. Here it is given diffusivity at 1373 Kelvin and diffusivity at 1273 Kelvin. Yeah? We know in this type of problem, we know that dt is equal to constant. Diffusivity and time, the product of this is constant. Okay, so for this type of problem, you remember this one, diffusivity and time is constant, the multiplication of that is constant. So d at 1373 and time, d at 1373 and time at 1373 is equal to d at 1273 and time at 1273, right? So d at 1373 it is 10 power minus 18. Time at 1373 we have to calculate, so let it be t. D at 1273 it is 10 power minus 19 and time it is given as 10 hours, right? And we need to also find the answer in hours. Okay, so let this unit be there. So t is equal to 10 power minus 19 into 10 by 10 power minus 18. That means minus 1. So 10 divided by 10 is equal to 1. Right? So 1 hour will be, that means the answer. So 1 hour time will be required to homogenize at 1373 Kelvin. Next, match the materials listed in group 1 with the most appropriate applications listed in group 2. Okay, these are the material: iron silicon alloy, gallium arsenic, nichrome, quartz, steel. Okay, so let us see one by one. We know iron silicon, right? Iron silicon alloy. So it is used in transformer steel. Why it is used in transformer steel? Because it reduces the heat loss. Heat loss, how? Because if you see the, the hysteresis curve, something like H versus B. So this hysteresis curve is very thin in the case of iron silicon alloy. So that means it minimizes the heat loss. So it is used in transformer steel. Okay. Gallium arsenic, let it be. Next let us see nichrome. Nichrome, we know it is used in heating element because it has got very high resistance. It contains nickel, chrome, right? So that's why the name is nichrome. Quartz crystal. Quartz crystal is just like a piezoelectric material, right? So this is a piezoelectric material. So what happens whenever there is a motion, it produces some electrical signal, and when we send some electrical signal, then it produces vibration that helps to create ultrasound. Right? So S will match with 2. So Q will match with light emitting diode. So for this type of problem, if you know 2 or 3 perfect answer, then you match that one first. Like suppose here iron silicon, I am very much sure that it matches with transformer. Quartz and nichrome I know. Then Q will directly match with the one which is left. Right? So you can approach this method. P matches with 3, Q matches with 4, okay, R matches with 1, okay, S matches with 2. So option A is the correct answer. Now, match the heat treatments for an eutectoid steel shown in the TTT diagrams below as P, Q, R and S with the resulting microstructures listed below. Fine perlite, martensite, bainite, coarse perlite. Okay, so which heat treatment is going to give you which one? So we know this is the nose of the curve, and above nose we get perlite, right? And if you see at small amount of delta T here, this is eutectoid temperature, that is 723 degrees centigrade, right? So this is, if you see, the cooling is such that the difference over here is small, right? That means the transformation is taking at higher temperature. So at higher temperature the diffusion coefficient is very high, so that means the carbon diffusion will be high. So that's why the perlite which is formed is of coarser nature. So when the delta T increases, that means the diffusion coefficient somewhat decreases, okay, and then when there is decrease, the diffusion becomes sluggish, and this helps to form fine perlite, right? So Q will form fine perlite. And R, this is below the nose of the curve, and if you hold this one, then we know that this gives bainite structure. And last one, it is starting at MS and ending at MF, so it has crossed MF, so that means it will form martensite, right? So P matches with, so P will match with coarse perlite, right? So 4. Q will match with fine perlite, right? P will match with 4, Q will match with 1, R will match with 3, okay. So P matches with 4, Q matches with 1, R matches with 3, and S matches with 2, right? So option B is your correct answer. Now let us move to next one. An alloy of overall composition Xb is equal to 0.7 was equilibrated at a temperature T1, okay, at this temperature. Microstructural analysis shows 2 phases, alpha and beta, right? Here it is 2 phases, right? It is given here, and that the phase fraction of beta was 0.75, okay. So beta phase fraction is 0.75, given that the equilibrium composition of beta at T1 is 0.9. So here it is given 0.9 as shown in the phase diagram. The maximum solubility of B in alpha in mole fraction at this temperature is. So it is asking about this composition, okay. So let this composition be X. So we will apply lever rule here, right? So this will be my tie line, and this is the composition of the alloy. So percentage beta composition, it is there, phase fraction is 0.75, that means percentage beta phase will be how much? 75%, right? So equal to let this be A, B, C, right? So percentage beta will be AB, because here it is alpha, it will be beta. So beta, it will correspond with the left hand side. So AB divided by AC into 100. So this implies 75%. So 75 divided by 100, that means 0.75 is equal to AB by AC. AB is how much? 0.7 minus, this is how much? X. And AB divided by AC, right? So AC is how much? 0.9 minus X. So if you solve this one, I have done the solution. Then X will be 0.1. You try to solve yourself, right? Then X will be 0.1, right? So in the question also it is asking about the maximum solubility of atom B in alpha. So maximum solubility will be 0.1, because this shows the maximum solubility over here. Okay, so thank you all. Hope this will help you in your GATE preparation.